Welcome to the Jehovah Chronicles with your host, Cosmon Cal.
Let me tell you something, we ain't out here doing nothing. I can tell you scared, boy, niggas stop fronting. It was all in the plan.
Create a gang is crazy. Boy, y'all better pay attention.
Some 20 centuries ago. Those stories are presented in the New Testament, and as new evidence is revealed, it will become clear that they do not represent historical realities. The Church agrees, saying, "Our documentary sources of knowledge about the origins of Christianity and its earliest development are chiefly the New Testament scriptures, the authenticity of which we must, to a great extent, take for granted." The Church makes extraordinary admissions about its New Testament. For example, when discussing the origin of those writings, the most distinguished body of academic opinion ever assembled admits that the Gospels do not go back to the first century of the Christian era. This statement conflicts with priesthood assertions that the earliest Gospels were progressively written during the decades following the death of the Gospel Jesus Christ. In a remarkable aside, the Church further admits that the earliest of the extant manuscripts of the New Testament, it is true, do not date back beyond the middle of the 4th century AD. That is some 350 years after the time the Church claims that a Jesus Christ walked the sands of Palestine. And here the true story of Christian origins slips into one of the biggest black holes in history. There is, however, a reason why there were no New Testaments until the 4th century. They were not written until then, and here we find evidence of the greatest misrepresentation of all time. It was British-born Flavius Constantinus, also known as Constantine, who authorized the compilation of the writings now called the New Testament. After the death of his father in 306 AD, Constantine became king of Britain, Gaul, and Spain, and then, after a series of victorious battles, emperor of the Roman Empire. Christian historians give little or no hint of the turmoil of the times and suspend Constantine in the air, free of all human events happening around him. In truth, one of Constantine's main problems was the uncontrollable disorder amongst presbyters and their belief in numerous gods. The majority of modern-day Christian writers suppress the truth about the development of their religion and conceal Constantine's efforts to curb the disreputable character of the presbyters who are now called Church Fathers. The peculiar type of oratory expounded by them was a challenge to a settled religious order. Ancient records reveal the true nature of the presbyters, and the low regard in which they were held has been subtly suppressed by modern church historians. In reality, they were the most rustic fellows, teaching strange paradoxes. They openly declared that none but the ignorant was fit to hear their discourses. They never appeared in the circles of the wiser and better sort, but always took care to intrude themselves among the ignorant and uncultured, rambling around to play tricks at fairs and markets. They lard their lean books with the fat of old fables, and still the less do they understand, and they write nonsense on vellum, and still be doing never done. Clusters of presbyters had developed many gods and many lords, and numerous religious sects existed, each with differing doctrines. Presbyterial groups clashed over attributes of their various gods, and altar was set against altar in competing for an audience. From Constantine's point of view, there were several factions that needed satisfying, and he set out to develop an all-embracing religion during a period of irreverent confusion. In an age of crass ignorance, with 9/10 of the peoples of Europe illiterate, stabilizing religious splinter groups was only one of Constantine's problems. The smooth generalization, which so many historians are content to repeat, that Constantine embraced the Christian religion and subsequently granted official toleration, is contrary to historical fact, and should be erased from our literature forever. Simply put, there was no Christian religion at Constantine's time, and the Church acknowledges that the tale of his conversion and baptism are entirely legendary. Constantine never acquired a solid theological knowledge and depended heavily on his advisors in religious questions. According to Eusebius, Constantine noted that among the Presbyterian factions, strife had grown so serious, vigorous action was necessary to establish a more religious state. But he could not bring about a settlement between rival god factions. His advisors warned him that the presbyters' religions were destitute of foundation and needed official stabilization. Constantine saw in this confused system of fragmented dogmas the opportunity to create a new and combined state religion, neutral in concept, and to protect it by law. When he conquered the East in 324, he sent his Spanish religious advisor, Osius of Córdoba, to Alexandria, with letters to several bishops exhorting them to make peace among themselves. The mission failed, and Constantine, probably at the suggestion of Osius, then issued a decree commanding all presbyters and their subordinates be mounted on asses, mules, and horses belonging to the public and travel to the city of Nicaea in the Roman province of Bithynia in Asia Minor. They were instructed to bring with them the testimonies they orated to the rabble, bound in leather for protection during the long journey, and surrender them to Constantine upon arrival in Nicaea. Their writings totaled in all 2,231 scrolls and legendary tales of gods and saviors, together with a record of the doctrines orated by them. Thus, the first ecclesiastical gathering in history was summoned, and is today known as the Council of Nicaea.
I want y'all to keep that in mind. We are talking about the Council of Nicaea, 325 AD. Constantine is about to lay the foundations of Christianity. Watch this.
It was a bizarre event that provided many details of early clerical thinking and presents a clear picture of the intellectual climate prevailing at the time. It was at this gathering that Christianity was born, and the ramifications of decisions made at the time are intellectual climate prevailing at the time. It was at this gathering that Christianity was born, and the ramifications of decisions made at the time are difficult to calculate. About 4 years prior to chairing the council, Constantine had been initiated into the religious order of Sol Invictus, one of the two thriving cults that regarded the sun as the one and only supreme god. The other was Mithraism. Because of his sun worship, he instructed Eusebius to convene the first of 3 sittings on the summer solstice, 21st June 325, and it was held in a hall in Osius's palace. In an account of the proceedings of the conclave of presbyters gathered at Nicaea, Sabinius, bishop of Heraclea, who was in attendance, said, "Excepting Constantine himself and Eusebius Pamphilius, they were a set of illiterate simple creatures who understood nothing." This is another luminous confession of the ignorance and uncritical credulity of early churchmen. Dr. Richard Watson, a disillusioned Christian historian and one-time bishop of Llandaff in Wales, referred to them as a set of gibbering idiots. From his extensive research into church councils, Dr. Watson concluded that the clergy at the Council of Nicaea were all under the power of the devil, and the convention was composed of the lowest rabble and patronized the vilest abominations.
What you say?
Nicaea were all under the power of the devil, and the convention was composed of the lowest rabble and patronized the vilest abominations.
Uh-oh.
It was that infantile body of men who were responsible for the commencement of a new religion and the theological creation of Jesus Christ. The Church admits that vital elements of the proceedings at Nicaea are strangely absent from the canons. We shall see shortly what happened to them. However, according to records that endured, Eusebius occupied the first seat on the right of the emperor and delivered the inaugural address on the emperor's behalf. There were no British presbyters at the council, but many Greek delegates. 70 Eastern bishops represented Asiatic factions, and small numbers came from other areas. Cassilian of Carthage traveled from Africa, Paphnutius of Thebes from Egypt, Nicasius of Dijon from Gaul, and Donus of Stridon made the journey from Pannonia. It was at that puerile assembly, and with so many cults represented, that a total of 318 bishops, priests, deacons, subdeacons, acolytes, and exorcists gathered to debate and decide upon a unified belief system that encompassed only one God. By this time, a huge assortment of wild texts circulated amongst presbyters, and they supported a great variety of Eastern and Western gods and
Y'all hit that thumbs up, support the video. We're going into the creation of Christianity. This is Antiquity Unveiled Part 2. I want y'all to get this, man. Share this out. You dig what I'm saying? These are the things, hidden parts of religion that have not been told. But in the Cosmon era, the Creator says all things will be revealed. Things that are in the dark will be moved to the light. Things that are of the light will be made everlasting. I want y'all to get this. You dig what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and build a little forward. Support the channel, Cosmon Cal. Hit the Cash App. You dig what I'm saying? Show some love, and let's just keep building. But I want y'all to watch. Keep your eyes on the sources that he's using to make the claims. Watch the sources.
goddesses: Jove, Jupiter, Silenus, Baal, Thor, Gade, Apollo, Juno, Ares, Taurus, Minerva, Rets, Mithra, Theo, Phragapati, Attis, Durga, Indra, Neptune, Vulcan, Christi, Agni, Croesus, Pleiades, Huit, Hermes, Thulis, Thamus, Aegyptus, Iao, Aph, Saturn, Gichens, Minos, Maximo, Hecla, and Fernes.
Now look, you don't think the Creator Gang has been being effective? Huh? You don't think our reach, is touching worldwide? Look what he just quoted. He quoted God's book of Esdras. He quoted God's book of Esdras. Where did he get these names from? How does he know? Because historians know that Owaspy is historically truthful, right? As a matter of fact, these names could not have been revealed, right, if not for the revelation in 1881 to John Ballou Newborough. There were no sources extant at the time that gave this type of information. Let's go look at exactly what they're talking about. Now, remember, we talking about the Council of Nicaea, right? We're talking about Constantine, but who inspired them, right? Who is the God Christ, right? How was Constantine inspired, and how do they know? They know because Owaspy is revealing. Didn't he just tell you now? The council had brought with them all what? 2,231 books and legendary tales of gods and saviors. How do they know? How did they know? Because these boys is reading Owaspy. Peace to the creator gang, man. Peace to the righteous gods and Nirvanian goddesses. Shout out to the 4 horsemen, the vanguard of this high light. You dig what I'm talking about? Selah Shalom, Daryl Cosma, Malachi Maccabee, and yours truly, the cloud kicker. The cloud kicker. I'm in Atmospheria, lemon pepper stepping. What you gonna be doing? Huh? I'm in the second resurrection with my eyes on the third lemon pepper stepping, baby. This is what you gotta learn. Huh? Now the council had brought with them in all 2,231 books, just like they said, and legendary tales of gods and saviors and great men, together with a record of the doctrines taught by them. Hatuus, right? Who is Constantine, right? Owaspy call him by what him mama call him. Hatuus, aka Constantine, being under the inspiration of Luamong, aka Christ, through who? Gabriel, whose alias is Thoth. Gabriel, right? Who inspired Muhammad, his alias on the earth is called Thoth. So when you see them connections to Thoth in the late Greek and Roman periods, they're actually talking about the angel Gabriel, right? In Egypt, remember, there's a resurgence of Thoth worship in 300 from the Greek to the Roman domination of Egypt, right? They have a resurgence of Thoth worship. This is why Gabriel, aka Allah, alias Thoth, thus spoke, says, search the books and whatever is good in them. In what books? In these 2,231 books, right? Search what is good in them, right? Retain. He says, search these books and whatever is good in them, retain. But whatever is evil, cast away. What is good in one book, unite it with that which is good in another book. And this is why you get multiple various tellings of stories in Bible, right? Especially in the quote unquote New Testament. You have Mark telling a story, Matthew, Luke, John, all of them telling stories, and then reinterpolations of the same story over and over again, right? This is why, because what was good in one book got united with what was good in another book. And whatever is thus brought together shall be called what? The Book of Books, aka this is the Christian Bible, right? That's what they just calling it. It don't mean it's the book of the books, just like you're not a nigger just because people call you one. And it shall be the doctrine of my people. Whose people? Luamong, the false Christ, right? Which I will recommend to all nations, so that there be no more war for religious sake. Gabriel and his angel host formed a circle around the mortal council, and 1,000 angels deep on every side, and extending towards densely for a long way, and then by a line of light extending to the false god's Christ's throne in Hapsindi, which is the name of his heavenly kingdom. By day and night, Gabriel, aka Thoth, and his host watched over the mortal council, shadowing their every thought and word. Look, for 4 years, In 7 months, the council thus deliberated and selected from the 2,231 books and legendary tales. And at the end of that time, there had been selected and combined much that was good and great and worded so as to be well remembered by mortals. But look, as yet, no god had been selected by the council. So they balloted, right? They cast ballots in order to determine that matter. What they're trying to choose a god, right? And the first ballot gave prominence to the following gods. Now, we just seen that right here, right? Let's go back just a little bit. Now, we see Christ, Agni, Croesus, Pylades, Huit, Hermes, Thulis, Thomas, Aeguptus, Io, Aeth, Saturn, Gitchins. You dig what I'm talking about? We see that right here. Now let's go see where they got it from. Understand how far you are ahead of the game. If you are a faithist today, you are so far ahead of the game. It's going to be hard for people to understand what you're actually bringing out, right? Now, look, just as they say, as to yet, no god had been selected by the council, and so they balloted in order to determine that matter. And the first ballot gave prominence to the following gods: Jove, Jupiter, Selenus, Baal, Thor, Gade, Apollo, Juno, Ares, Taurus, Minerva, Rex, Mithra, Theo, Fragapati, not Fragapati, right? Now, if you know this name, Fragapati, there's only 2 ways you could know it, right? And it's only really one way you could know it, because in the records where it is remembered of the Vedic text, you dig what I'm talking about? He is called Prajapati with a P, not an F, but his real name is Fragapati. First ever god able to choose who he wanted to be on the throne. And guess what? Prajapati's major ideology that he brought to the earth, he was the very first man to give linear kingship to the sons, right? Same thing Fragapati truly does in real life. In the myth, they also give him that same he's the very first god to be able to choose who his successor is. Then you got Attis, Durga, Indra, Neptune, Vulcan, Christi, Agni, Croesus. Remember, this is where we at right now. Christi, Agni, Croesus, Pylades, Huit, Hermes, Thulis, Thomas, Aegyptus, Io, Aeth, Saturn, Gitchins, Minos, Maximo, Hecla, and Phrynes. And besides these, there were 22 other gods and goddesses that received a small number of votes. And in 7 days after that, another ballot was taken, and the number of gods was reduced to 27. And in 7 more days, another ballot was taken, and the number of gods was reduced to 21. And thus, the number was reduced each week, but slower and slower. 6 days in the week, they were balloted or allotted to discuss the merits and demerits of the gods. And on the 7th day, they balloted. But many weeks elapsed towards the last when the number was not reduced. This is what's going on in the Council of Nicaea that they're not telling you about. For 1 year and 5 months, the balloting lasted. And at that time, the ballot rested nearly equally on 5 gods. Who are they resting on? Jove, the Roman equivalent of Zeus. Christ, right? The false god who is coming back in Revelation 19, sitting on a horse with a sword, about to chop niggas' heads off and leave blood as high as a horse's bridle over 2,000 miles. Mars, the war god of Rome, Kriti of the Cretians, and Siva, who is Shiva of the Brahmins, right? Another war god, right? And here the ballot did not change for the next 7 months, which was 7 weeks. Hattuus or Constantine spoke before the council, saying, "Ours is a labor for all nations of the earth and for all times. I know the angels of heaven are with us in this matter. We have found 5 gods, good and acceptable before the world. What do you say, council, that the angels give us a sign? For we all know the angel signs of these gods." The council said, "Well said, you wisest of men. Such a god shall be ours now and forever." And immediately, look what's going on in the council. Immediately, there and then, Luamang, the false god Christ, and his angels gave a sign in fire. Of what? Of a cross smeared with blood, and it rested on a bull's horns, like a cloud of fire on a cloud of fire. And at this, who was declared? Christ. This is why you have a Christian doctrine, because the God of the Christians is called Christ. Jesus, the literary invention, right? Jesus is his physical representation on earth, but is not real. He is doctrine, created from many various gods and prophets, right? Watch this. We just gonna go into it real quick, right? This is why you have a Christian doctrine, because Christ, right, gave a sign in the Council of Nicaea to choose him. Now, mind you, he's inspiring everybody. So who you think that they was going to pick to be the God of the Christians except Christ? It's a setup. You see? And at this, Christ was declared God and Lord. You see that? This is why they praise God and Lord and not the Creator today. Of all the nations of the earth, and the council agreed to this unanimously, and moreover, to reject all the other gods. The next question was, what mortal representative should be chosen? So what is the prophet going to be named? The first ballot brought out the following men: Zarathustra, Thophima, Abram, Brahma, Attis, Thomas, Yoshu. This is real Jesus. This is the real Jesus. This is who they call Yeshua. His real name is Yeshu. Remember, Jesus didn't speak Hebrew. No Israelite, not one, ever spoke Hebrew. The people who are usurping Israel's true history spoke Hebrew. This is why they're called Jews. They served a God under the title God and Lord. They had a book. The real Israelites never did. Yeshu. See, when the name Yeshu gets converted into Hebrew, they add the appellation ah on the end of the name, hinting that it is of or the creator or the father, the first, right? Just like in Hindu or in India, they add on an appellation to the end of the name Ma, right? So like Gandhi's real name is Mahat. They add Ma on the end. Mahatma Gandhi, right? It's the same thing that the Hebrew does to a name of a person who is deemed to be of the creator. They add the ah on the end of the name. So the real representation of Jesus in English should be Joshua. Huh? It should be Joshua. Right? In Hebrew, it would be Yeshua. Right? But in its true Aramaic, with the J, Aramaic has a J. Hebrew didn't. Aramaic does. Right? With that same understanding, you would have called him Yeshua, Joshua. Mind you, he was born in 146 BC, died 36 years, not 33 years, 36 years later in 110. This is during the Hasmonean dynasty. Then we see what happens. Peter takes over, right? His brother, Jesus, his brother, James, becomes head of the church. Right? This is all during the Hasmonean dynasty. From 146 to 110 BC. 146 years before the Common Era. Right? So in Hebrew, they add that appellation onto the end of the name to hint towards that he is of the creator, right? This is Aramaic, not Hebrew. So yeah, he can have a J, right? No Israelite ever spoke Hebrew. Not Abraham, not Moses, not Jesus, none of the prophets. This is why when he was supposedly on the cross and at the end of the day, he said, Eli, Eli, you did what I'm talking about. And he spoke to him. He said, Father, Father, forgive them, for they know what they do. They thought he called out to Elias. Because the language difference, they thought he called out to Elias. He spoke in Aramaic, not in Hebrew. He said, did this nigga call out to Elias? No, what he actually did was call out to the angel. Well, that story is false anyway. But he would have called out to the angel who attended him and even created his birth. Remember, the real Yeshu or Yeshua is in Aisu. Aisu is a born prophet. There are prophets who are made. Right? The high-raised people are made this way. And it takes hundreds of years of breeding to produce a Yeshua. Hundreds of years of breathing to produce an Abram. The first ballot brought up Zarathustra, Dothma, Abraham, Brahma, Attis, Thomas, Yeshu, Sakiah. Y'all don't even know that this is the real Buddha. It's real Buddha. This is why they try to Sakiah Gautama. Yeah, they try to say Sakiah is Buddha, Buddha is Sakiah. That's a trick of the false god Inochisa, who y'all call Buddha. It's a false god. It's an angel. Habron, Bali, Krita, Krishna, Thulis, Witoba, Spio. And besides these were included in the ballot 46 other men who received a small number of ballots. Now, this is how they choose Jeebus. Watch this. God, this is true God, the son of the creator. See the difference? These gods are pretending they are the creator. True God is the son of the creator, not trying to pretend he is creator. See the difference? Behold the council of Nicaea. So we know where we at, right? Balloted for 12 months as to what man actually hold the voice of the creator. Do you say Jehovah sends his matters to the councils of men? They asking a question. I want y'all to get in on this real quick. Hit me with your thoughts in the chat. Let me blow that up a little bit. I know y'all couldn't see it that good. Do y'all think Let me ask you a question. If you believe that the Most High Creator who made sun, moons, and stars and everything in the whole creation, do you think he runs his thoughts and patterns and creations across man before he creates them? If you think so, hit me with a 1 in the chat. If you think that the Creator do what he want to do, how he want to do it, if he want to do it, when and where he want to do it, hit me with a 2 in the chat. If you think the Creator got to run his plans down to a council of men to get men to certify what the Creator gonna do, hit me with a 1. If you think the Creator do what the hell he want to do and don't need no man, hit me with a 2 in the chat. Right? Constantine said, Constantine said, the gods will not let us choose any man. Now, therefore, hear me. Listen to what he say. Watch how he about to use this play on words. Watch this. He says, this is Constantine talking. He inspired by the angel Gabriel, the same one who inspires Allah. Watch this. Remember, Gabriel was Christ's little homie. So Allah worked for Christ. Let that sink in. This is Gabriel talking through Constantine. Watch this. He said, hear me. All the lawgivers, all of them, chosen by the gods, have been Aisu. Do y'all see how Aisu becomes Jesus? Did y'all know the word Aisu meant prophet? Right? In Hebrew, the I in the 1500s becomes a J. Right? Watch this. He says all the lawgivers chosen by the gods have been Aisu. Aisu is a true prophet. He says, now look, now since we cannot make preference as to a man, so since we can't just pick one, let's just call the man Aisu. Let's go over here to 182 real quick. Latin ultimately shifted the initial I to a J, not just Aisu. Mind you, if you go into the 1611 King James Bible, they use this term, Aisu, to define Jesus. Uh-oh. Watch this. Watch this. Latin ultimately shifted the initial I to a J, not just Aisu to Jesu or Isis to Jesus, but in other words as well, i.e. Jupiter becomes Jupiter, Ionis becomes Janus, Ino becomes Juno or June, etc. The word Aisu was used in the Latin Vulgate. Look it up. Not about to do all the heavy lifting. Cosmine over here strong as fuck. Y'all gonna have to get down here and get y'all hands dirty with me. Go look into the Latin Vulgate. Go look into the 1611 King James Version, the original King James Version, and see if they call Jesus Aisu. Because it was used in the Latin Vulgate, which was St. Jerome's Latin translation of the Christian Bible from Hebrew into Latin in the late 300 CE. Where we at right now? Huh? Where we at right now? We in 325. You see the play on words they just used? Since they couldn't pick none of the prophets, they just used the name of prophet to call the man. So the name Aisu, Yeshu, Jesus, was adopted and the sacred books were written accordingly. What does it say in 183? Note, according this fabricated story of the representative prophet, that indeed for the whole of the time period from his supposed birth to his supposed crucifixion, there is no statement in the available Romans records mentioning a Jesus as identified by the Christian story. Uh-oh. God said, true God, this is true God, the Son of the Creator said, the Council of Nice did not sin. Listen, for the doctrine set forth as Iesus were for the Creator. But, you thought you got away? But, where their words made worshipful the names Christ and the names Holy Ghost, behold, that matter was with the false god Luamong, aka Christ. God said, my testimonies were previously with Abram, Brahma, and Moses, and I did not speak of Christ, nor of the Holy Ghost. I spoke of the God and of the I am. They have said, whoever speaks a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whoever speaks against the Holy Ghost, it shall not be forgiven him. Therefore, let the false God Christ Luamong from 19 and 11 of Revelations bear his own testimony to the kingdom from which it sprang. The Holy Ghost was his labor. He invented it. Y'all see that? They quote in Owaspi because they know Owaspi is true. Go source it up.
Thamos, Aegyptus, Iao, Af, Saturn, Gichens, Minos, Maximo, Hecla, and Fernes. Up until the First Council of Nicaea, the Roman aristocracy primarily worshipped two Greek gods, Apollo and Zeus. But the great bulk of common people idolized either Julius Caesar or Mithras, the Romanized version of the Persian deity Mithra. Caesar was deified by the Roman Senate after his death and subsequently venerated as the divine Julius. The divine Julius, as Roman savior and father of the empire, was considered God among the Roman rabble for more than 300 years. He was the deity in some Western presbyters' texts, but was not recognized in Eastern or Oriental writings.
Let me show you why I stopped paying for all my other sample libraries. This is Arcade by Output. This thing has sounds, samples, instruments, effects, everything you could ever need all in one place. I remember a friend of mine sent me a link one day to try it. From the moment I opened it up, I was like, oh, this is...
Constantine's intention at Nicaea was to create an entirely new god for his empire, who would unite all religious factions under one deity. Presbyters were asked to debate and decide who their new god would be.
Let's be real. Let's be real about it. Who brought this information out? Christians didn't bring it out. Islam didn't bring it out. Buddhists, Brahmins. Nobody brought this out but Creator Gang. Only the four horsemen told y'all this. That this is what happened. They denied. Christian apologists got up here lying, talking about, oh, they didn't create Jesus. They didn't create God. This is not. No. It comes from the first century, Cosmon. Why is there no other books but what the Greeks and the Romans are writing in the first century? You think they was going to let a book get out that first of all books had to come through Rome. That's one. How did Josephus's book get out, right? If he did not work for the Romans. We go look into history. He worked directly for Vespasian. Huh? He worked directly with Titus. Huh? His overboss was Epaphroditus. Same as Paul's. Uh-oh. Why Paul, homeboy, is Epaphroditus? Constantine's secretary. I thought you were supposed to be this holier than thou ass prophet ass Hebrew Israelite ass nigga from Tarsus. Why are you from the land of Edom? Nobody ever asked these questions except the gang. Nobody is bringing the questions. And answers. Like the Creator gang and Owaspy today. This is why they mad. But this is why we can't be stopped. Creator is undefeated, correct? Huh? If y'all know the Creator is undefeated, hit me with a 3 in the chat. Hit me with a 3 and then throw some vortexes up in this thing, man. Let's get spinning, man. Y'all got to get to acting like faith is up in here. Y'all dead? Huh? Turn your spirit on 10. We about to get some of this. Listen, you going to get this light. One way or the other. I don't care if you don't like Cosmon. You going to get this work. Somebody got to do it. And they done left it up to 4 Negroes, from America. Selah Shalom, Daryl Cosmon, Malachi Maccabee, yours truly. We the only people who ever told you this, right? He's going to go on and say something else. That we were the very first people in the conscious community ever to stay. Mind you, we the first people that told you which gods that they was even balloting on in the Council of Nicaea. That is nowhere else. There are no sources extant or in existence then or now to prove that. Only Owaspy is a primary on this information.
Delegates argued among themselves, expressing personal motives for inclusion of particular writings that promoted the finer traits of their own special deity. Throughout the meeting, howling factions were immersed in heated debates, and the names of 53 gods were tabled for discussion. As yet no god had been selected by the council, and so they balloted in order to determine that matter. For 1 year and 5 months the balloting lasted.
Wait a minute. You ain't gonna get away with that one. What'd you say?
Special deity. Throughout the meeting, howling factions were immersed in heated debates, and the names of 53 gods were tabled for discussion. As yet no god had been selected by the council, and so they balloted.
Where they at? They in God's Book of Escrow, right? What we just read. Who is quoting this? Professor S.L. McGuire's translation. Salisbury, 1922. Right? Paragraphs 36 and 41. From number 14. Where was we at? Where was we at, y'all? Or I mean, number 28. Excuse me. What'd they say? Hold on. One second. One second, y'all. Here we go. Here we go, y'all. Look, for 1 year and 5 months, the balloting lasted. Watch this. Let's go back. Let's read. All right. Says, for as yet, no God had been selected by the council, and so they balloted in order to determine that matter. Right? Let's go back and look at 36. Right? As yet, no God had been selected by the council, and so they balloted to determine that matter. And then they go into the gods. Then they drop down to 41. And they show you what? And they show you what? For 1 year and 5 months, the balloting lasted. Right? Now let's go back right here. Out of book of Esdras, chapter 28, paragraphs 36 and 41. As yet, no God had been selected by the council, and so they balloted in order to determine the matter. For 1 year and 5 months, the balloting lasted. Look, quoted directly from God's book of Esdras. We're going to have to get at Professor S.L. McGuire. He might be dead, but we need to check his work. As a matter of fact, let's look at this. Professor S.L. McGuire. Let me see. Let me write it how they got it. S.L. Oh, it's McGuire. Scholar. S.L. L. McGuire. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. And to Constantine. The very words in which Constantine ordered the Bible to be assembled. The strange, odd, look, they call it an OWASP hoax. Search these books and whatever is good. This is what Emperor Constantine said during the Council of Nicaea. They said they have a litany of factual errors combined with little spite. Included on page 227 is the reference given to God's books of Esdras, 48, chapter 31. God's book of Esdras was God's book of Esdras. Professor S.L. Transfer 19 Bushby went on to produce a book called The Bible Fraud. And you can't argue with the title. Yeah. He said he tried to say OWASP is a fake text. Disprove it. You see, he ain't come with no proof. He mad. Dog mad he cooking the Bible. We gonna have to get in the SL. Let's go back and check up on this, man. We gonna come back, check up on SL. Yeah, SL McGuire got him upset. He didn't say that. How you know it comes from Esdras? You see, he ain't say nothing. You see, he ain't say nothing about. Hey, if I can still be heard, hit me with a 1 in the chat real quick. If I can still be heard. You see, he ain't say nothing about Eskra's authenticity. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it come from old Waspy. Yeah, out of control. Let's get back to this real quick. We're gonna have to jump into S.L. McGuire and see his translation, because S.L. McGuire was breaking down the Constantine, the meeting of Nicaea, Council of Nicaea. Uh-oh. Waspy say the same thing, except except it don't throw Caesar in there. He got that from wherever he got that from. Where he get that from? Let me see. From Historia Ecclesiastica, the history of Ecclesiastes by Eusebius. This is you. Do y'all know who Eusebius is? This Constantine right-hand man. He would have been in on the scam day one. He the lead priest. Eusebius is definitely in the scam. You can't take his word for it. Woo! Woo! You see it? You see it? What he quoting? God's book of Esdras. Huh? What that man quoting? He quoting God's book of Esdras. Huh? 48 and 31. Search these books, and whatever is good in them retain, but whatever is evil cast away. Whatever is good in one book, united with that which is in another book. And whatever is thus brought together shall be called the book of books. What is you talking about? Cosmon told you that first. Selah Shalom told you that first. Huh? Malachi Maccabee told you first. The whirlwind himself, Robert McCall, aka Leonardo. Told you himself, Daryl Cosmon. This is how the books was created. This is where your New Testament come from. Right out of Escra. Huh? And they are using this as a source. They know it's been vetted. It's been vetted. You can't deny OWASP as a primary source for this information. You just can't. Not if you being real with yourself. Where you get this information from? You think a white boy, a dentist from Ohio just knew this? Okay, if he did, right? If he just made this up out of his mind, he is more knowledgeable, more wise, and more intelligent than your God is. If you want to say the white boy knew this, he came up with stuff that not even your God can debunk. You can't debunk it. Huh? You can get in your feelings, get emotional about it. You can cry. You know what I mean? Get you a little sippy cup and I don't like that Kashmir. Huh? But are you trying to say the white boy from Ohio is smarter than your God is? Are you able to admit that? Do you want to admit that? Well, then you got to, if you're not saying that he's smarter than your God is, smarter than the historians, huh? If you're not saying that, you must admit this nigga got a download from somewhere. Ain't no way he knew none of this. Ain't no way. We gonna need that source about you, Elia. You said you knew how JBN knew it. We gonna need that source about you. If you ain't saying it was automatically written, oh boy, you gonna have a tough time proving this. Shout out to my OG Elia. say? He made what? He made the writings of Apollonius of Tyana part of the New Testament. What did Apollonius give to the Bible? What text are Apollonius's? You say no audio for the vid. You say you can't hear. Hold on. Can you hear it now? Hold on. Can y'all hear it now? I mean, it's not going right this second. But let me play it. Can y'all hear it? You say you can only hear me. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna stop sharing. Real quick. He says low on my end as well. Hold on. Let me go back in and share it again. When you start to bring out that that what they call the epistles in the Bible ain't from Jesus. Uh-oh. Who they from, Cosmon? Apollonius of Tyana. They was added by John Goldenmouth in 397 to the New Testament. What did he add? The epistles. Watch this. Let me make sure y'all can hear it.
Advised his associate, Cardinal Sadoleto, to disregard them,
Can y'all hear it?
Put away these
Y'all hear it? Hit me
trifles,
with a one.
for such absurdities do not become a man of dignity. They were introduced on the scene later by a sly voice from heaven. The Church admits that the epistles of Paul are forgeries, saying, even the genuine epistles were greatly interpolated
back a little bit
to disrupt the truth. Apollonius, mouthed
I'm gonna go back.
interpolations were added and other writings included. For example, in 397, John Golden-Mouthed Chrysostom restructured the writings of Apollonius of Tyana, a 1st century wandering sage, and made them part of the New Testimonies. The Latinized name for Apollonius is Paulus, and the Church today calls those writings the Epistles of Paul.
Who? What? Apollonius is called Paul in the Bible. Oh my God. How many times have I been telling you this? They don't believe it till a white man come and show you. Gang been telling you this for 6, 7. I've been telling y'all this 15 years. The Latinized name for Apollonius is Paul. What writings of Apollonius got into the New Testament? The epistles. I told you where they get this information from. You don't think they've been watching the game? Watch this. I'm gonna prove to you they watched the game.
Apollonius's personal attendant, Damas, an Assyrian scribe, is Damas in the New Testament.
Huh? Who told you about Damas? Huh? Cosmon is the I can on this one. Shout out to Sela Shalom because he put me on the information. But Cosmon is the first person on the internet in the conscious community, period, to bring Antiquity Unveiled to the forefront, letting you know that Damas is Demas in the New Testament. He's also Thomas that followed Paul. Huh? Cosmon is the very first person to tell y'all on the internet, I'm not tooting my horn, just being real, to let y'all know that they watch gang. So if all these people, if the historians in them are watching us, reworking our information, how our channels ain't all blew up? You had to come down and watch Cosmon to understand who Damas was. Damas is not.
The church hierarchy knows the truth about the origin of Apollonius's mouthed Chrysostom, restructured the writings of Apollonius of Tyana, a first-century wandering sage, and made them part of the New Testimonies.
Somebody was watching game. Nobody knew about Apollonius of Tyana before I brought him out. And you definitely wasn't tying him to Jesus, and you definitely wasn't tying him to Paul. But I'm going to take you one more step. Apollonius of Tyana is also John of the Bible. He not only the Jesus, he's not only Apollos, who they talk about in the Bible, he is Paul and John. This is the first century scribe, mystic. Apollonius of Tyana, they actually seen this man. People of his time wrote about him. He was born. Well, we'll get into that. But I'm going to prove to y'all they've been watching the game. Watch this.
The Latinized name for Apollonius is Paulus, and the church today calls those writings the Epistles of Paul. Apollonius's personal attendant, Damas, an Assyrian scribe, is Damas in the New Testament. The church hierarchy knows the truth about the origin of its epistles, for Cardinal Bembo, secretary to Pope Leo X, advised his associate, Cardinal Sadoleto, to disregard them, saying, "Put away these trifles, for such absurdities do not become a man of dignity."
What?
They were introduced on the scene later by a sly voice from heaven.
What?
The church admits that the epistles of Paul are forgeries, saying, "Even the genuine epistles were greatly interpolated to lend weight to the personal views of their authors."
What? What? Even the genuine epistles were greatly interpolated to lend weight to the personal views of the authors, who are the Christian so-called forefathers, but are the workers of iniquity for Rome and the false god Christ. They've been mishmashing and mixing up this story for hundreds of thousands of years. For 2,000 years, they've been mixing this story. They didn't have the last ecumenical council till 1960.
Likewise, St. Jerome declared that the Acts of the Apostles, the 5th book of the New Testament, was also falsely written. The New Testament subsequently evolved into a full...
How you know? Who you been watching? How you know? They ain't went and got this source. Who is this right here, y'all? Who is that? Who is that? Y'all tell me who that is. Hit me in the chat. Y'all tell me who that is in the chat. Be real. Who is that? Yeah. That's the Pope's son? Think so? It's a good guess. That's Jeebus. Yeah. That's the real Jeebus. No, this first century. This is Jeebus. This is the real Jeebus. Apollonius of Tyana, the Nazarene. Every picture that you didn't ever seen is a representation of this man. Even the one that that they said they made of the Pope's son in the 1500s. is a representation of this man, Apollonius, the who? The Nazarene. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here go your real Jesus. But I ain't going to beat around the bush. I'm going to let Apollonius tell you himself. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna let Apollonius tell you himself. This is what? This is from the book of Antiquity Unveiled. This is from the book of Antiquity Unveiled. Why you think I'm calling it Antiquity Unveiled? Why you think I'm having a series? This is part 2. This is the creation of Christianity. Apollonius of Tyana. Look what it say. The Jesus of Nazareth. Oh, get it out my back. Also, who? Saint Paul. And who, Cosmon, just tell you? I told you I was the first one to bring it out. Selah hit me with the information, but I'm the first one to bring it out. And that Apollonius is not only Jesus, not only Paul, but John the Revelator. I showed y'all this about 3-4 years ago. About 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago. How many years ago I didn't show this? Mind you, Apollonius was born in 2 AD. He died in 99. He went to an isle called the Isle of Man and had a revelation. Uh-oh. Remember they just said Apollonius's words were turned into what we call the epistles, and they were put in the New Testament. Apollonius of Tyana, the Jesus of Nazareth, Saint Paul and John the Revelator of the Christian scriptures, returns to earth as a spirit and explains the mysteries that have concealed the theological deception of Christian hierarchy. Look at this. Now we're going to go back down. I'm not going to read it all, but I'm going to just get into it. He say, let our salutation be the survival of truth and its conquest of superstition. I was born, this is Apollonius talking, I was born according to the Christian calendar on the 16th day of February in 2 AD. Of wealthy parents. I was educated until my 26th year in general philosophy and literature, and I served for 6 years under Eusenes of Heraclea, learning the Pythagorean philosophy. After acquiring all I could learn from the teachings of that philosopher, I went to Antioch, and from there to Jerusalem, on account of some wonderful physical manifestations of spirit power taking place through my then young mediumship, which persons living in Jerusalem had heard of. My entrance to that city was hailed as it has been alleged. The entrance of Jesus of Nazareth was hailed with hosannas and songs of praise to one who came in the name of the Lord. So hold on, let me drop down a little bit, because this is what I want to get to. Right? He says, never during my mortal life did I desire to be worshipped after death. Never did I, as a mortal man, teach such a doctrine. But I was deified after my death. Look, listen, 9 epistles. Where are the epistles at, y'all? They're in the Bible. 9 epistles were made a present to me by Phrates of Tashila, India, or rather between Babylon and India. So where they at is actually in between. Who was a satrap in those days, right? So we're talking about 1st century AD. Watch this. This is what you can't do with your Bible. This is what you can't do with Quran, right? You can't go see Tashila today. Look, here is Tashila. Tashila is right before India. Look, before India, just like he said, in between Babylon and before India, which is modern day Pakistan. Huh? So the ruler of Tashila, 1st century, at the time that Apollonius, was on the earth, was named Phrates. We're going to get into a build on Phrates. Is he a real person? Yes. Apollonius said he got the text from Phrates, who was a satrap in Tashila, in the land before India. Here go India down here. Here go to Punjab. Right here. This land today is called Pakistan. Let's go back. He said 9 epistles were given to me. They gave them to me as a present by Phrates of Tashila in India, or rather, and look, he was very specific right here, rather between Babylon and India. So he showed where he was at, who was a satrap in those days. Those epistles contained all that is embraced in the present epistles, claimed to have been written by Saint Paul. So not only did the epistles exist before Apollonius, they were made a gift to Apollonius by a satrap named Phrates. So the epistles of Paul existed before Paul. Let that sink in. Hold on, I want that to sink in. The epistles of Paul existed before Paul. If you now know that, hit me with a 5 in the chat. You see it, hit me with a 5. Those epistles contain all that is embraced in the present epistles, claimed to have been written by Saint Paul. And from what I have learned as a spirit, I conclude that I am both Jesus and Saint Paul of the Christian scriptures. Cosmon was the very first to tell you that. Where are they getting this understanding from? If you ain't reading no WASPy, you don't have it. If you ain't been reading Antiquity Unveiled, you don't have it. Nobody has brought out Antiquity Unveiled since. Only Malachi. Even Daryl Cosmon didn't bring it out. Even Selah didn't bring it out, even though he had the information. Only Cosmon brought it out. And then Malachi Maccabee, years later after I brought it out. So if you ain't been watching gang, you don't have this information that shows they've been watching. Look at what Apollonius goes on to say. He says, flattering enough it is to my vanity, but the ruin of my happiness. It is my duty here to confess all I can bring to recollection in order that the spiritual darkness may disperse and the light of truth shine in. Hmm? Hmm? There is one thing that I desire particularly to speak of, and that is the ultimate of spirit power on earth. All materialists claim, look what he say, that it is impossible to restore that which is dead to life. Listen what he about to say. Because remember, this is the man that was raising people up from the dead, walking on water. They was trying to stone a nigga, and he poof disappeared out of nigga. He put hands on about 16 niggas in the in the front of the money chain. He put hands on the money changers and their protectors. One man did this. He said, upon this point, my knowledge is, I assert that if you have developed your mortal body to that extent, not into what is called moral purity, but into a holy, trusting love with the heart that beats for humanity, if such a person can come in contact with a fresh, young body from which the spirit has been driven out before it, could accomplish its mission. Take that, before the spirit could accomplish its mission, take that body by the hand and with mighty will arrest that spirit. He can force it back into the body it once inhabited and make it fulfill its mission. 3 things are necessary to do this. First, a perfectly healthy organism. This is why the dietary doctrine and laws in OWASP are number 1. If you don't do nothing else, eat right. The rest of this is even just added on. Apollonius is proof of this. He's saying he ain't nothing special. He said you just have to be clean on the inside. All you got to do is follow your Nazarene laws, statutes, and commandments. They didn't eat meat. That don't mean you're going to be no little skinny mini and all that. You're going to lose some weight, yeah, but you're going to be healthy. That's the thing. You want to lose more weight, work out. But it ain't about your weight. It's about having a perfectly healthy organism. That does not imply a strong or powerful one. See? It means an organism in which the spirit is greater than the body. The excess of spirit producing this result. I just wanted to show y'all. They've been watching, gang. This thing about to go to the moon. Right? And in this upcoming debate, right? This is the type of information they got to deal with. We are going to tear them apart. I am not going to leave one rock standing. Ain't going to be a pyramid left. Once Cosmon dropped this light bomb over there, I'm going to wipe that thing out. Anything that got to do with commission, religion, adeptness, anything. If it ain't of the higher light, it is done after October 19th, man. Listen, y'all come on in, right? The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Y'all get y'all tickets right now. Team Kemet versus the Creator Gang, the science of cosmogony creation and time, cosmogony creation and time. WASP verse, the ancient Kemetic literature. We're going to be coming strictly out of WASP. I don't even care what they coming out of. I've read all of it. It don't make no goddamn sense. It is more illogical than even the Hebrew text. And I'm not throwing no shots. It just is not objective. They're always going to talk about, oh, it symbolizes this. It's a emblematic of this. But they never show you exactly what a thing is, or how a man is made from tears, or how a man exists in space. Remind you, in their story, they say this: God created a man from tears before there was an earth, before there was an atmosphere. Yeah? To even breathe it, he had man just floating up in space, made from tears. You got to explain that trash. You got to explain how your Amun Ra or Ptah or Kim or whoever you say is your, because mind you, you got three people who are creators in your three different mythoses. None of them match up. But you got to explain how something is created before your creator. You got to explain that. Can't nothing make the creator. He don't come out of anything. Everything comes out of him. So how are there primordial waters, so-called a god and a goddess, Nun and Nanet, that exist and create your creator? Can you say oxymoronic? Your book, your creation myth, a belief that is always false and always unprovable. That's what myths are, by definition. See, Jabari, you're going to have to listen. Listen, Jabari. You're ill-equipped as a historian if you don't have a timeline in your so-called culture that can be attested to. Egyptians, Egyptologists, none of them agree on a timeline. So you just gonna come and make up one. You think you just gonna come up, make up one, and we just gonna sit on that and that be all cool? Nigga, your calendar the only predate the Hebrew calendar, which said the whole world, everything was created in 3761 BC, 3761 BC. Your calendar say everything was created in 4241, 462 years later. You think we going for that? Everything was created in 4241, and you got the nerve to point the finger at the Israelites? If theirs bad, yours bad. Gobekli Tepe is older than your creation story, older than your calendar. We don't care nothing about the Zep Tepe. Talking about 36,000 years ago. You don't have no proof of that. Your calendar don't start then. If your calendar started then, you would have proof of it. But you ain't got no calendar to go back that day. OASP does. More than double. We got 18,000 years before the creation of man. Yeah. You're going to have to deal with it. Right? Cosmogony. Mind you, right? We got Egypt in a headlock. We about to park their whole crew. Dig what I'm saying? I throw the thing in the chat real quick. You know what I mean? Anybody want to come in, just hop on, build, and, you know, anything they got to put forward, you know, any information or whatever, I'm going to throw it in the chat. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Y'all come on in and hit me up. We'll talk for a minute. You know what I mean? Before I got to go get the shorties. Y'all jump on in, man. Come on, talk to your cousin. If don't nobody know, well, this is Antiquity Unveiled Part 2. The creation of Christianity. We gonna get back into all the founding fathers. If you had anything ill to do with Christianity and leading my people astray, I will expose it all at whatever cost. I ain't scared of nothing. I ain't scared of your God. That's what I ain't scared of. See, this is the power that Owaspy give. We know that you fake. Osiris, we know you fake. Isis, Khonsu, Amun, Ra, all of you are fake. Yeah, we ain't just on the Bible. We don't care which false god we hit. We just gonna spin the block. If you outside bumping your gums, mealy mouthing, well, you was supposed to get shot. I'm gonna make you get in the trunk, punk. Wait till y'all see Cosmo around. Boy, wait till y'all see my round. So, listen, I just been reworking. I ain't even done. I'm just gonna keep finessing for about another 6-7 days, just finessing. But boy, wait till you hit it. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not shooting no gun. I'm dropping bombs. Ain't gonna be no north. Ain't gonna be no upper lower Egypt when I'm done. It's just gonna be a parking lot. I'm gonna build a Walmart over in Egypt when I'm done. Put a McDonald's over that thing. Nigga, I'm about to listen. This whole round. Y'all wait till you see Daryl. Listen, Daryl Cosmon is crazy. I don't know why y'all keep messing with this man. I had to go rework my whole round because Daryl Cosmon is a nutbag. This nigga ain't he? Listen. Besides what Sela gonna do to him, right? And what Daryl got for him, and what Mally got for him, boy, I got a punch to the gut. I gotta listen, this is ugly. This is gonna be terrible. Man, who we got up in this thing? Sela Shilly. What up, though?
Chilling. What up, bro?
Oh man, just up here talking my thing. You know what I mean? Talking my stuff. You dig what I'm saying? They can't do nothing about it.
Somebody watching.
They don't want to come and get a pre-debate in.
Hey, somebody watching the game.
Oh yeah, you see them though, right?
You know what I mean? So I left a comment on that joint. I left a comment.
Yeah. Ain't nobody been bringing this out, Sela. You gave how long ago? You gave about 3-4 years ago. You gave me that book. It's been at least 3 years.
We had that discussion. It was being you, and then you know what I mean. You just brought it out, so you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that's how that works, son.
That's how it works, bro. These boys, wow.
Yeah.
These boys watching.
That was one of them gems. That was one of them gems. I was like, you know what? So you know the statement, you don't feed the shit to the swine, the pearls to the swine type shit. Yeah. So I had a catalog of shit that I was just sitting on. Like, I had a documentary, my nigga, called what was this shit? I never brought it up because I was like, nah, dog. This is for the inner circle. I can't give this shit up.
They ain't ready for this shit.
I'm gonna build with you on that off this. You know what I mean? And let you know what I'm talking about. So we we probably bring it out, but yeah, man, you going in on this Antiquity
back on it, clean it up, throw some extra seasoning on that thing. You dig what I'm talking about? We can always throw some cheese and lettuce.
Hey, nigga, you had me just now talking about how you got that finesse. You're around this shit, nigga. I'm doing the same thing, bro. I'm just fine tuning. Yo, it's gonna be it's crazy, bro. It's gonna be crazy.
Man, this is gonna be nuts. Yeah, what's going on, OG?
Peace and love, God, man. How y'all doing?
Man, peace and love, man. Love, life, balance, man. All is well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, like I said, man, like I have a drum. I'm beating on a drum. I'm not arguing. Yes, sir. I'm not arguing any points of what you want to bring out about Owaspy. So the stuff that you're pointing out, I just need to make this clear because I hear you. Like everything y'all do is a debate. But in all fairness to everything, I think everybody should know that I was told to read the law. And everything that you're reading, because I started reading the law and law documents, everything that you're stating, people know, people have been told. A lot of people want to ignore that information and they don't want to hear and see that because it digs into the undercore of their whole understanding of themselves in order to accept it. And that goes for Al-Islam too. And we're going to separate at this table Islamism from Al-Islam because in Islamism, before any books, we all are scientists, and alchemy is the science that we study. So when you come out your mother's womb, where you just left her holy water, her amniotic fluid, where you took the shahada, as soon as mommy said, "Ooh," you took the shahada. Just before that, then you entered her baptismal amniotic fluid. Then you came out here, and when you first started crying, you took your first breath. That's you being a scientist studying the world, understanding you and what the difference and everything in order. You become a scientist from that point on. It's the things that are around you that poison you and have poisoned us, and the things we allowed ourselves to get into. So this is where
I must agree.
So this is where when I got these teachings, I made myself privy. But you got to understand, it started when I was 10 years old, and I was told I was born in the Nation of Islam, and they told us, Imam Waridin Muhammad, we went to the Felt Forum in New York, and I'm a Muslim. I'm in the Nation of Islam. I'm FOI, brother. I'm 10 years old. I'm going into manhood initiation classes. And then his son Elijah dies, and his son comes and says, what my father taught y'all was wrong. Who are you talking to? Y'all just told me from childhood that this came from Allah, God. Now I'm 10 years old, you're changing it. And then as he spoke, I listened to him say that now we're going to follow Al-Islam, Prophet Muhammad. The East, I read the encyclopedia that said that these Arabs were trading us 1,000 years before.
Yeah.
The Nation of Islam. So how are we going to, at the age of 10, I stopped following that type of indoctrination, even though through Sunni Islam, because my family's deep into it, and my mother's known all over the world because she's one of the higher ups here in America.
I want you to piggyback on what you saying.
Yep.
How truth has a line of light that goes through it. It never changes. So any truth that was told in Islam would be the same truth that would have been told at the beginning of time. There are always a pathway, right?
Yes, sir.
In every understanding. It's just
but I'm not
understanding, and then what's next?
There's inner understanding, and there's external understanding. And through what I call the Abrahamic faiths, we have all been given an external understanding of how we exist in this world. When it is the internal I and my exertion that makes the difference inside of what everything that goes on and what's happening and what's going on. So this is where Islamism is from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, is an old-timey religion that allows us to hear and know, because my flock will know me by my word. That allows us to hear and know, because we are taught from the old-timey religion. And Owaspe, in its teaching, is tied to the old-timey religions of our ancestors. No matter what we want to call a religion today, they are all sciences and studies of.
Correct.
They have some other people have made it about this external God. Owaspe has stuck with the internal you and separated a creator from the gods. As a creator, the gods come from the creator. The Nana and Noon were a way of describing the scientific minerals and understanding of the earth. And then the sun is the sun is the God born from the God and the goddess. The sun is the God that establishes what we see on earth and how we live it. The whatever light rays and stuff we want to talk about in science and all of that comes from the sun. So this is where the teachings of what I can't argue with, especially now Constantine and them. How come nobody ever talks about Darius, King Darius, and all the Persian wars? And if we did, and we looked at so-called lands that were conquered by these type of Persians and stuff, and they were be pagans too. If we looked at it that way, and then we look at what the Islamic world and the Christian world and everybody else talk about, it was already set up this way by the time y'all talk about it. But it was done through the Persians and a whole nother group and set of people that we are named. Yeah, so our
break down Darius. We definitely go into Nebuchadnezzar, Darius, Ezra. This is the time that the Bible was written. This is 586 when Nebuchadnezzar put them people in slavery in Babylon. So we go from that time all the way down. But you got to remember that is a great leap in time from Constantine to Darius. That is 850 years.
Yeah. So well, by time you get to Constantine, see, right, everybody was living in what we would call a pagan state, and we only say that because of the Abrahamic faith. Who the Israelites say they are, who the Christians say they are, and who those who follow Al-Islam say they are. You are all the Abrahamic faith, and your idea of the creator is in a masculine form, a maternal form. That is a paternal form, excuse me, and it's always he. However, everything comes from a womb. Everything, no matter how you describe it. And this is where we get the millions of stories from. So if you study, if anybody ever read godchecker.com, all these stories that are inside the Bible and the Quran and stuff, you find them in godchecker.com, studying all these Apollo gods and Greek gods and gods from everywhere. You find all of these stories inside of there. And then there are purer stories about just a creator within all the realm. But you got to see it and search it in order to understand it. That's how we know Nana and Noon, they were just examples of masculine and feminine form. And then they had a child, which makes the man, the woman, and the man, the Trinity and the child. That's Trinity.
So what you're admitting to right there is that the story of Nana and Noon is allegory. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then they already lost. Because see, this is a debate. This is a debate on cosmogony, the how.
Okay, so what you saying that, right? This one, anybody who argues or debates about it, and I'm not saying y'all, because obviously our people are stuck. They need to learn. And so y'all are coming through with like the overall of it all. However, I would leave people alone in their religions and what they say, because at the end of the day, as long as, and this is where, if I say I have a problem with the teachings of Owaspe has to show me, how do y'all keep using the term Negro to describe us, when clearly Negro by law is a word that other people decided to call us in order to abuse us. It took us away from who we were as divine beings.
Well, to answer your question is, I use the term, not OWASP. OWASP doesn't call us Negroes. He gives us our real national and ethnic name. It doesn't call us that. I say that as a colloquial term to hint towards the copper-colored people. Now, we were called Negroes. That don't mean we are Negroes. But in America, to separate which American we talking about, we letting them know by skin tone, those who were called Negro. Now, I'm just using that. OWASP don't do that.
Okay. So they also call you Guatemalans, right? You're a Guatemalan, right?
No, we're Guataman. Right?
Guataman.
Guatama is the name of both continents, North and South America.
But so you're Guataman.
That's what they call us. I will be known today as an Algonquin or an American.
Okay, all right. So to make a difference, to keep it out of other people's business, and this is how. So if people don't know, I don't want to go into what we do, but as far as what I'm doing, but when we will refer to OWASPans, those who study that, as Guatemans, because it takes the real lawful authority off it. Now, you don't have to do that. You can keep saying what you say. But I am socially, politically, publicly, when I say Guatemans, I am speaking of those who follow OWASP and know OWASP and teach and profess OWASP. And I'm talking about creator gang and all of that. So
but the problem with that is we are in the minority right now. So to call
don't worry about that.
No. I'm not worried. Remember, I still will use the term Negro. So I don't have an issue with it because I'm saying a colloquial term. Remember, as a teacher, but as a good one, right? There's a difference between teachers and good ones. The good ones are able to meet their people wherever they're at. It's not the point of me being politically correct about what you're doing or me trying to say that you're wrong, because I know you're right. I know you're right. But at the same time, I must meet my people wherever they are. Remember, you said leave them in their religions. So does OWASP. OWASP say don't shake these niggas. They foundations just like that all the goddamn time. Don't be doing that. I didn't put you here to do that, right? But at the same time, to get them to understand and to complete. You see, a religion is a thing that's supposed to be completed. It's a thing done, right? And then what after that? That's what OWASP is. OWASP is revealing what comes next, right? And so we're not trying to take nobody. We've never told nobody to stop reading Bible. We read it. We ain't never told nobody to stop reading Quran, the Mahabharata, the Vestas, the Vedas, Shinto, Taoism, Confucianism. We ain't never told you to stop. We said, complete that. Live to the highest light. And then look for some more higher. That's all we say. Now, if those with I don't have I'm not a stickler, right, for what man calls a thing, because I've been called colored. I ain't colored. I've been called Negro. I ain't a Negro. I've been called black. I ain't black. I've been called a slave. I ain't a slave. They done called me everything but God. Huh? Which is actually what I am.
Okay. So yes, sir. So please,
using that colloquial term, I must be able to meet my people wherever they at.
So I comprehend that. So
the black, brown color. I can explain to them color thing later. But see, none of that. Nationality is not about to reach the higher heavens. Nobody's
Okay,
about to go to heaven and be a Moor. No, you're not. You got to
so
be
okay.
past the earthly accoutrements to rise to the higher levels.
Wait, I that's why I did not. I said I recognize you described something to me that I never heard before in the Guataman. So I comprehend.
Broke up a little bit. Say it again. Say it again. You just broke up.
I said, so y'all have just described to me, which I understand, Guataman. Further, I don't have a law degree from any college, but I comprehend law at its fullest. And I know that my people, the same group of people that you're looking to save and show a different way, those people are the abused people on this land. And I know for a fact that the one way it stops is for them to name out that which attaches them to land. So when I speak, when I write papers, when I do things to advance us, I have to be honest with everybody and say, when you hear this, I'm talking about you. I'm not going to say it the way you say it. I'm saying it lawfully. I have to put it in lawful terms so that why do we get it? Why were all our so-called leaders killed? They were killed because they stood up and said Black, African American, Negro, and then they went against it somewhere. Because they went against some agreement. We're not going with see, a WASP is another freeing of the agreement.
We're not going. I'm like you. I ain't going, baby.
So in order to put that down, like, how come the UN don't recognize us? Because we keep grappling on to everything everybody else say. I'm not grappling on anything. I've been took Jesus, no matter who said Jesus to me. I take Jesus as a code word for wink, wink. I'm down with your program. And I am an alchemist, so I don't buy into none of that wink, wink stuff. And why not just tell the truth? Because salt is salt, and it has a sign. You taught us all these symbols and stuff that were evil. When we go back and check them, they're neutral. They have none of the aspects that you all said to it. So from there, who adopted it? What did they use it for? So now, Guatemalans are the same type of people as Moors are. They're free people. They have nothing to do with being a United States citizen. They govern themselves within themselves.
I could have pushback on that, but why? I know what you're trying to say, and I ain't got no pushback against it, because at this point, you dig what I'm talking about? You're basically saying Moors are Indians. They're Americans. You dig what I'm talking about? I don't have, and you're tying them to Guatamians, so I don't have no issue with that. But to try to
yes, sir. I do.
You know, it maybe get confusing to people, so I don't try to bash you or tear down what you bringing out. You know, your light. You know what I mean? Because it's some truth in what. There's some truth in there, and Owaspi calls us to be able to discern the light from the dark, and to be able to take the good part from what he's saying, from or apply everything you say with a grain of salt, and then eat the flesh, spit out the bones. You dig what I'm saying? Or eat the fruit, spit out the seeds, however you want to put it. You know what I mean? So I don't, and then you dig what I'm talking about. It's confirming to me that some of the most well-known Moors, from Taj Tariq Bey to Alim Bey to brother RMB and sister K Glover Eel, they have come to me personally, you know, behind the scenes, and say, Cosmon, boy, I don't know what you reading, but everything that you read is the adept lessons that the Prophet Noble Jew Ali was teaching us about. He said, this is the actual, he told us about them. He told us they was there, but you teaching the actual lesson. He said,
yes, sir.
He told me to my face that ain't a Moor who know half of what he should know would disagree with anything Owaspi is saying.
Islamism, and that's the difference between Al-Islam and Islam. Because if we went and told one of them in Al-Islam who know Messenger Muhammad, Gabriel as the angel, and the Holy Quran of the East, and they say Allahu Akbar like that, if we went and said to them, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, they do everything but spit on us. No such thing. No such thing. But if you turn around and look, don't Prophet Noble Drew Ali look like one of us? Sure. Don't he look like he could be one of our uncles, cousins, brothers? So why if everybody else got an image of themselves, why would we ever deny an image of ourselves? And you don't have to be a Moor and be it. That's what my main thing about it. Well, many nations, many tongues, many people.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, y'all. The truth about the situation is they say the noble was a Cherokee.
And so when you go back into everything else that was said and done, when they came out with the 14th and 15th Amendment, and we could call this theory or whatever, or theology or mythology. Right. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, no, my people don't need the 14th and 15th Amendment. We failed to build a constitution like every other nation of people. And so then he and whoever, they made us a constitution. So that's why I say he made it for everybody, because he also said many nations, many tongues, many peoples. That means, well, man, I'm going to hear 1,000 religions. So, but in order to unite my people, I'm going to have to look past the religions and past the passion for the religion. And I'm going to have to look at what's equal to all of us. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's what we all want. We're not getting it, it seems like, but we have to realize our mistake in it too. Because even Dr. Martin Luther King said, I led my people into a burning house. And he was fighting for civil rights. So if the burning house is civil rights, we don't need the 14th and 15th Amendment. We just need to unite amongst ourselves from all our different groups and factions as righteous women and men upon this land, and say that we now govern ourselves from each area. And then we expect from like the group of Owaspe, as far wherever they are centered, they manage an entire area over there. They get to record that area in financial terms, and I'm willing to show it to them. They get to take command of the finances. They get to help set up the security and and the medical and everything within that particular geographic area. And they build an income for themselves, finances for themselves, however you want to look at the terms. They build for themselves. We have a unique position in the world right now, and we're giving it away. And just like Jamaica, it became free. But it because their people couldn't unite on what to do, England stepped. They called England back in. That's why they still go to the crown today. We don't have to do that.
So basically, what you're saying to round it up, what the brother is trying to say is to be short is when we come together and we build, and leave your religion at the door.
Amen.
That ain't got nothing to do with nation building. Religion ain't got nothing to do with it. Religion separates people in a nation. Leave it outside. All right now. Hey, I'm gonna show this real quick. You dig what I'm talking about? Y'all brothers just keep building. We just gonna build for a couple minutes. You still there, Sila? We got this coming up October 19th. The link to get your tickets is at the top of the chat.
I'm still here just doing some editing. I'm listening in. I'm just listening to our brothers build. I'm here though.
Oh yeah. This the OG El Ya, man. I don't know if El Ya met Sila. That's El Ya. That's the homeboy. That's the Big Mo. That's Big Mo. You dig?
Honor God, man.
Peace to the God.
Yep. And then we got this on October 19th. Y'all listen, you do not want to miss this. Y'all know good and well Sonetta from New York. So he gonna try to squeeze every goddamn dollar out this thing. So get it while the tickets is $20, right? Because they gonna be 35 on October 19th. Just understand that. Go ahead, get your pre-orders right now and get them in. But coming up on the 28th, which is Saturday, we got Robert McCall himself, the equalizer, Daryl Cosmon, right? Coming with a new build called The Science of Consciousness. Ooh-wee. You dig what I'm talking about? I wish the brother could jump in real quick. Go and break this down, man. Consciousness, well, because there's some things about the so-called conscience. I'm going to just leave it at that. I know my brother going to get into it, break it down about what is so-called today called a conscience. And he's going to give you the science of it, man. That's September 28th, coming up this Saturday, 9 p.m. Central Time or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's 6 in the West Coast or 7 in the West Coast. It'll be 7 in the West Coast. It'll be 10 Eastern Standard Time. Y'all listen, y'all don't want to miss this. I keep telling y'all, Daryl Cosmon is out of his damn mind. This brother, I don't know where he be. Listen, he pulls from the same level that every great mind has pulled from, that infinite authority. You dig what I'm talking about? He pulls from that same space. You know what I mean? And the fountain of, I like to call it the fountain of truth, right? He draws directly from Jaja mouth to his soul. You dig what I'm talking about? So the concepts this brother be bringing forward, sometimes you got to sit down and think on it a minute. Like, what did he just, what is that? Wait a minute. I never thought of it that way. You dig what I'm talking about? One of my favorite teachers that actually sit down and listen to, Daryl Cosmon. Also one of the favorites of my homeboy OTK. My homeboy OTK say, yeah, you cold, Cosmon, but that boy Daryl Cosmon is something different. And I can't lie, he is. You dig what I'm saying? You know, Cosmon for the people, for the everyday man. You dig what I'm talking about? I'm not everybody flavor. I already know that. I ain't trying to be neither, because that'll be fake. That'll be phony if I was sitting up here sugarcoating and acting like I ain't who I am. Like I ain't come from, boy, y'all have no idea the darkness I came out of. Boy, the youngest got a saying today called being on demon time. If they're on demon time, right? If what they doing today, them, is demon time, I was Shaitan. I was terrible, terrible, terrible. And anybody who know you, who know me, will tell you, that boy, yeah, we don't even know him as Cosmon. Yeah, the Cosmon's something different. He knew. Yeah. Cal P, yeah, he's different. I'm just being real with you, man. That light of the creator, man, will make you step up. It'll make you live to your highest light. It'll convict you. Right? This is why Owaspy is gaining ground like it is. You know? It's gaining ground so fast. Y'all have no idea how happy I be sometimes to get up and know that there is 75, 80 people, 100 people in the Creator Gang chat. I prayed for this. I prayed for this in 2014. I thought I was going crazy. I couldn't talk to nobody about this information. I didn't know nobody who knew it. I didn't know Selah. I wasn't in contact with no faithists. Nothing. I was just reading and looking around me and doing what Owaspy say, prove all things objectively. That is the way of the gods. To see a thing through meritoriously first before you put a judgment on it. That is the way of gods. You know what I mean? To be more in the middle, right? Religion tells you to be hot or be cold. Don't be in the middle ground. No, the middle ground is usually the high ground. It gives you the best opportunity to make the best choice. And then once you look out here in the real world, I know what the religion say, but in the real world, there's more gray than there is black or white. Let that sink in a second. Why wouldn't I be in the gray where I could make more definite, defined, and better decisions for me, myself, and my family?
I gotta say this. Hallelujah.
Yeah, man. Hallelujah. You dig what I'm talking about? And listen, it's like the brother was saying, man, it's a oneness. All truth is one. It's just about which angle you coming from to get it. Guess what? In the end of the day, we gonna end up at the same spot. I can't bash my brother for the path that he walked to get. See, the path to evil and darkness is wide, right? It's wide. There's only one path to it, right? There are many paths to truth and light, but they're not all wide, and you got to walk them sometimes through some tough, dark spots. You got to be able to do that dark work on yourself before you get to a greater illumination of self. Sometimes that's just what it takes. You know what I mean? They always say it's darkest before dawn, right? So y'all don't miss this this Saturday, Daryl Cosmon coming up. Definitely don't miss this one on House Consciousness, Sonetta TV. You dig what I'm talking about? Team Kemet versus the Creator Gang, and it's going down. Trust me, it's going down. You dig what I'm talking about? Hell yeah, man. Tell the people where they can find you at, man. They want to get in on some of this you know, what y'all got going on over there. You dig what I'm talking about? Some very informative stuff. You dig what I'm saying? Getting yourself right within the system, without the system. You dig what I'm talking about? And putting your getting your life together with some of the understandings of the law and how they affect you, man. If they wanted to get at you, man, tell the people where to get at you at.
Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Right now, you can find us at tonight on YouTube at We the People 4343. And we're going on at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. And our main reason for being there is that we know our rights as far as being a government. I have taken the position as president. And so, but I'm not, you'll see, if you meet me, you'll see. You can come on here, you'll see. We need to build a governance of ourselves, and people do it right from where they are. And so if you think about how if you know, you see all the departments, go through the departments and ask Google, you know, for what they do in that department. What's the job title? And then the job title, and what does it do? What does the education department do? Ask Google that in the United States, and then look at what it does. We need to do that for our people. but we're going to change it to edification. We're going to change our morals and our values about who we are. See, they might pay you $1 million to make a hip hop song, but do you got to make that hip hop song? You should be able to turn it down. And if we, the adults, don't build that ground where you, so with me saying that, please send us your music. Let us know where you are at, we the people. And so that we can get your music, because we want to put you in rotation. Right now, we're doing it at We the People, and we very soon, like, I have to do a news program. And so now we're going to do a news program. Your music will be played. Your music will be played. I'm asking that we hold down the cuss and the violence and all the sexual attitude. And we come forth with a waspe and other type teachings that we know of in order to present ourselves to the world and make the world respect us. When we define ourselves, there's nothing that no one else can do about it, but we have to do it. And we have to, and after we build the stations, we have to listen to them. And we have to be, we can't be really competitive with each other. Like right now, for both brothers to be on, y'all should separate it and say, nah, I'm going to take this time, you take that time. So that everybody can focus on that particular brand that's going across the table. And then we show more unity to each other by all of us tuning in and being around each other and sponsoring each other's stuff and moving each other's stuff. So this is the type of atmosphere that we're offering and that we're bringing to the table. We're asking other people to come in. And when you come in, we expect you to be like, and please don't take this the wrong way, boss up. All that gangster attitude we had on the streets, being nasty to each other over drugs and sex and all the dumb stuff, we're about to save our lives. Boss up. But of course, we're doing it with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You always have the right to defend yourself, so we don't even need to speak on that. We out here to build a governance of self, and we need all of us to do it despite our religions. And if you do come to the table for your religion, you're telling us about the school, how many children you have, and stuff like that, so that we can put them into a budget of our own, not United States fiat dollars. We have no concept or idea of that. Well, how do you survive now? I got my little hustles that I go out and make my little bit of, but I don't try to live off United States dollars. I need to pay a few bills in order to exist here. So I do all of that. And after that, I go about making our money. And that we can, when somebody comes on and asks about our money, or if I'm asked now, I'll tell you, but I'll save that for another one, another time. And yes, I appreciate y'all, but we can start on that show. And then I'll give emails and stuff to where we are and how you get in touch with us. And we can all talk. We can all talk about how we build. We are a theological government. Theology. The creator is the creator and rules all of us. After that, our little positions, no matter what we say, mean nothing. If we are not saving our people, if women and children are being snatched off the street, we should be offended. If children are hungry, we should be offended.
I gotta hit you with a hallelujah on that one.
Okay, so the only way that's going to happen is if we have it, if we do it, and we're not. You don't have to be a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're building a nation. But we cannot refer to ourselves in slave terms. You do it in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And our mission is to uplift the fallen divine beings, which is mostly us, right? Peace and love, y'all.
Man, peace, man. I see. I think Sela must have dropped off real quick. Hey, this has been Antiquity Unveiled, the creation of Christianity. You dig what I'm talking about? I'm gonna go ahead. If anybody want to get this creation of Christianity doc or this video, I'm gonna put it in the chat. 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna put it in the chat before I get up out of here. Copy, and where am I at? And I'm gonna drop it down in there if anybody else want to watch the whole documentary You dig what I'm talking about? I suggested you should. You dig what I'm saying? But we gonna go on up out of here, man. I gotta go get the short leggers and stuff. Hey, ya.
Peace.
Hey, can you do something for me, bro?
Tell me, big bro.
I just need you to breathe in. And let that light in. That's right. Cause I'm Cosmon and I'm out. Salute y'all. Peace.
Please. Gotta love.
And oh yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, just that job F, that chow mein, that papaboo, that towel main, since sunset in the arc of Wayne, my brain moving like Tao Sane, so ass above, it's so below, that up and that down thing, this flow is atmospherian, I call that a ground game, see water is knowledge, so if I'm teaching, you're learning, so how your God make a sun without vortexian current, see the pattern is ponic, I'm reaching out for my people, oh watch me flow through your speakers, you feel the force of the ether, and when the force gets the equal, I'm taking off like an eagle. Police popped the pastor yesterday for pushing put equal. My DNA is Moshe. Mix that thing with higher water. My spirit rate is OTN. It's just a higher order. Got more light than Kavita. Rap a lot just like Tila. Went from sinner to saint. Shout out my big homie Sela. Got more torque than a sports car. Got more work than a door stop. And the 4 million I make, I'm giving the Dr. Umar. Oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Super 7 in my rites and ceremonies. I'm married to Jehovah, holy matrimony. Confucius say, in the words of Caillou, before you hit the tomb, be a bridegroom. Only got one question for Miss Susan B. On how to last Ahuin is now a ennui. Blame my inspiration, I'm just thinking thoughts. But in the way of God, we gon' keep it short. Why Jesus wanna kill me, Matthew 10:34. Just a couple questions that I'm needing to know. Oh, watch me flow, it's so potent. Set the vortex in motion. Super 7, I'm floating across the Aegean Ocean. Oh, you a Muslim now, so I guess you making salat. Well, I'm a Israelite, I'ma make him at the Shabbat. Got Moses on the bumper, super slap off in my spaceship photosphere. So I stay lit, peace and light to the faith is so yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air.